At 7, Lily longed for a true best friend. She found him, battered and forgotten, tied beside an old barn, and nothing would ever be the same. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps give light to voices that deserve to be seen and heard. Lily was only 7 years old, but she often whispered to herself, "One day, I'm going to find my real best friend." That day came sooner than anyone expected. While visiting a neighbor's worn-down property on the outskirts of town with her grandfather, Lily's sharp eyes caught movement near an old rusted barn. There, lying in a bed of straw and mud, was a German shepherd, thin, limping, his eyes dull, his body scarred. He was tied loosely to a fence post, as if he didn't matter at all. When Lily asked the man about the dog, he shrugged with indifference. "He's no good anymore. Hurt his leg. You can take him for $5. Lily looked up at her grandfather, her eyes wide with both hope and worry. Then, with trembling hands, she reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out exactly $5 crumpled dollars, all the money she had saved from helping her grandmother gather eggs and sweeping the porch every weekend. Her hand shook slightly as she extended the money toward the man. Without a second glance, he snatched the crumpled bills and muttered, "He's your problem now." But to Lily, Bruno wasn't a problem. He was a promise. A chance for something better. Her grandfather hesitated, concern etched in his face. "Sweetheart, are you sure about this?" Lily nodded firmly. "He needs someone, and I think he picked me." Gently, they untied Bruno, careful not to startle him. He didn't resist, just stood there, weak but willing. Without making a sound, he followed Lily back home. That evening, Lily made a bed for him in the barn, layering warm blankets and setting out fresh water. She knelt beside him, stroking his fur softly and whispering, "You're safe now, Bruno." The name came to her naturally, and for the first time the dog let out a soft sigh, as if he finally understood he belonged somewhere. The first few days were quiet and fragile. Bruno barely moved, barely ate. His limp was worse than Lily had imagined, and he flinched at every sudden noise. He never barked or growled, just watched with tired eyes that had seen too much. Lily stayed by his side for hours, reading bedtime stories aloud, sharing bits of her sandwich, even placing her favorite stuffed animal next to him at night. Her grandparents watched quietly, unsure if Bruno would survive or if he could ever trust again. But Lily never gave up. Every morning she greeted him with a bright, "Good morning, buddy." Every night she tucked him in like a beloved sibling. Slowly, a change began to take hold. One evening, as Lily hummed softly while brushing hay away from Bruno's fur, he gave a small, uncertain wag of his tail. It wasn't much, but to Lily it meant everything. That tiny wag told her what she'd already believed deep down. Bruno wasn't just healing physically. He was learning to feel safe again. More than that, he was learning to love. Before long, Lily's grandfather started noticing something unusual about Bruno. One evening, while a military documentary played quietly on the TV, the sound of marching boots echoed through the room. Bruno snapped to attention, ears alert, body still and focused, like a soldier responding to a familiar call. "Grandpa, why did he do that?" Lily asked softly. The next morning, something stranger still happened. Lily accidentally dropped a bucket full of grain, and before she could even react, Bruno darted forward, positioning himself protectively between her and the noise, calm, watchful, calculating. Later, as a playful joke, Lily pointed her finger like a toy gun and shouted, "Bang!" Instantly, Bruno dropped to the ground, playing dead. No one had ever taught him that. Her grandfather watched from the porch, brow furrowed. "That dog's been trained," he said quietly. "Not just tricks, serious training." Lily looked down at Bruno, who rested peacefully by her side. Maybe he'd forgotten who he was, until now. The sun was setting when it happened. Chasing a butterfly a little too far toward the edge of the woods behind the farm, Lily wandered off with Bruno following closely. The tall grass swayed gently, the air still. Suddenly, a rustle burst from the bushes, and in a flash, a wild boar charged toward her, snarling fiercely. Lily froze, her heart pounding in her throat, but Bruno didn't. In one swift motion, he launched himself between Lily and the animal, barking with a fierce strength that echoed through the trees. He didn't hesitate or back down. With precise movements, he circled, dodged, and herded the boar away, growling until it finally retreated into the woods. When the danger passed, Bruno returned to Lily's side, licking her hand gently, as if nothing had happened. The very next morning, Lily's grandfather made a decision. "We need to get him checked out properly," he said. They took Bruno to the town's small animal clinic, nestled between the feed store and the bakery. Dr. Simmons, the vet, welcomed them warmly and examined Bruno carefully. As he ran his hands along the dog's neck and shoulders, he paused. "There's something here," he muttered, pressing gently into Bruno's skin. Moments later, he pulled out a small, embedded metallic chip, damaged but intact. Using a specialized reader, Dr. Simmons scanned the tag. What appeared on the screen made his eyebrows shoot up in surprise. This dog wasn't a stray. He was a former military canine, a hero named Bravo 9, presumed dead 2 years ago in a transport explosion. Lily gasped, tears welling in her eyes as she knelt beside Bruno. The dog licked her face gently, as if to say, "It's okay now." She whispered softly, "You were a hero before I met you, but now you're my hero too." In that moment, the $5 dog became something far greater, a living proof that broken things can still save lives. Word spread quickly. Dr. Simmons, moved by the discovery, called a local reporter with a military background. A few days later, the town paper ran the story under the headline, "Forgotten Canine Hero Found by 10-Year-Old Black Girl." Within hours, neighbors and strangers alike showed up at the farm, some bringing treats for Bruno, others simply wanting to meet the brave dog who had come back from the dead. Neighbors who once kept their distance now left thank-you cards and bones on the porch. A retired soldier drove across 2 counties just to shake Lily's hand and salute Bruno. "And saved more than lives on the battlefield," the man said. "He reminded us what loyalty looks like." Lily looked out at the growing crowd, then down at Bruno. "I didn't know who he was when I gave that $5, she began, her voice trembling. "I just knew he needed someone, and maybe I did too." Her eyes filled with tears, and she paused, wiping one away with her sleeve. "They say I rescued him," she said softly. "But I think he rescued me first." The crowd fell silent. Bruno stood strong and calm beside her, his tail wagging gently, as if he understood every word. Lily leaned down, hugging him tightly, and whispered, "You're my best friend." And in that moment, not a single eye in the crowd was dry. Thank you for watching this story with us. In a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming, it's the quiet acts of kindness, the courage to see others with compassion, and the small choices for justice that truly change lives. We hope Lily and Bruno's journey reminds you that no matter how broken things may seem, love and hope can bring healing and light. If this story touched your heart, please consider sharing it with someone who needs a little kindness today. And if you want to hear more stories that celebrate the strength of the human spirit, join our community by subscribing and staying connected. As poet Maya Angelou once said, "Try to be a rainbow in someone else's cloud." Let's keep spreading that light. One story, one moment, one kind act at a time.